Blessings, and welcome to EARTHEART Radio. Finally beginning to awaken from the illusion of separateness and broadcasting live from the KSKQ studios in beautiful Ashland, Oregon. Here's your host, Shankara Das.
AKA Derek Moody. Thank you for being here, my friends. Another Sunday. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters and Universal family. Whether you're tuned in Oregon or the Midwest, Florida or India, when we tune in together at the same time, listening, learning, and our hearts beating in unison, it's truly an international and interconnected community. The language of love fits us all like a snug glove. If you're listening, it's no coincidence that you've tuned in to your higher frequencies, and I'm personally happy that you're here. The Temple of Now. Thank you to my guest and friend David Vallee, who's actually here today to perform live music on this live radio show. And you'll be hearing the positive news as always today. And we will spotlight a saint known as Sri Anandi Ma. The wise ones who see that the consciousness within them is the same consciousness within all beings attain peace. He resides in Medford, Oregon, David Vallee. He's a perennial musician. He plays drums, bass, guitar. He sings, he writes lyrics, and he's a member of quite a few musical projects, including Treebender and Divine Dirt. And please welcome David Vallee to the EARTHEART Radio Show. Hey, Dave.
Hello. How's it going?
You know what? Let me make sure I got the right mic for you. How's that, Dave?
You tell me.
You are good now. I had you on mic 2. You're on mic 3. Thanks for being here, dude.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's an honor.
I know you've appeared on my other show, The Church of Rock, but which is a completely different show and a completely different format. So it's nice to switch gears with you, man, and have you bring in your guitar in to do something a little different.
Yeah, it's really nice being on here, man, and it it makes a lot of sense. You being somebody in my life who kind of helped me find the spiritual path that I'm on. So,
oh, that means a lot to me, man. Yeah, I actually used a photo of you for the promotions today, holding a copy of Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. So hope that was okay for the promotions.
That copy is the one that you sent me. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that, to be honest.
Right.
That's such a great book, man. Autobiography of a Yogi.
Yeah, I'm reading through that, and also The Miracle of Mindfulness by Thich Nhat Hanh.
Ah, that's one. I've only looked at certain pages. I have never read that book.
It's excellent, man. It's one of those life-changing books that after the first few chapters, you can almost feel your brain chemistry changing.
That's great. Maybe that's a good idea. I can make a note right now. Thich Nhat Hanh would be somebody good for me to spotlight on the Saint Spotlight.
Absolutely, man.
So, yeah, that's somebody maybe in the next 2 weeks or so we'll focus on him. So, we've known each other for years. I've known you. We were both living in Medford. We've been in bands together, and we've traveled the country together and played like in the Midwest together in bands. At what point, were you pretty much an atheist or an agnostic most of your life?
I was raised in a Christian family, and that was something that at a young age I kind of started to naturally just rebel against, so yeah, for a lot of years, I think I kind of thought that there might be something to spirituality, but I wasn't really sure, so non-religious, we'll say. I wasn't really thinking, I wasn't necessarily an atheist, but very non-religious, and, didn't really have any spiritual followings to speak of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No beliefs at all, really. Right. I know we've had some deep conversations over the past several years, and, the band that we are in is called Divine Dirt, and we do consider it to be a sort of part of a spiritual path. And like you said, it's not a religious path, but it certainly brings to it components of different, the higher frequencies of different spiritual paths. You'll find elements of Buddhism, Hinduism, pretty much anything that the bottom line is love or good vibes or high frequencies without being organized religion, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's cool too about that record we made and the band itself is that I've noticed that a lot of your lyrics are very, like you said, non-religious, more spiritual, taking bits and pieces from all different kinds of pieces of religion and spirituality. And our music is sort of reflective of that because we take all these different elements of different kinds of, genres that we love, from punk rock to gothic to stoner metal to, just basic bluesy rock and roll. And we kind of throw that all together musically,
And what's cool, we have this new keyboard player, Ariana Danielle, and she, last night at rehearsal, was throwing out some really beautiful classical, almost gothic classical piano pieces, which are just amazing. And we never had that dimension to our band, so I'm really happy to have that kind of sound starting to develop.
Absolutely, me too. She's very talented, and I know she's going to bring a whole new dimension to the songwriting,
How long have you been a musician?
Well, I started messing around with instruments when I was 13 or 14, and I'm 30 now. So I don't know. You do the math. A long time.
Don't do that to me. I can't do math. Where's that calculator?
Right.
But we were talking not the other day, but I guess recently about you learning some like songs that have like a spiritual slant, and there's a slew of them, like Spirit in the Sky, and there's so many cool sort of, so to speak, spiritual rock songs from the 60s and 70s and on and on. And I know you worked on picking out a few to play today on the show.
That is correct.
So I'm really excited to maybe go ahead and get some music going here on the old EARTHEART Radio Show. I know those listening would probably enjoy your stuff. By the way, thank you if you are tuned in, my friends. This is EARTHEART Radio Show number 21. And next week on the show, Sierra Leanne Cox will be here performing some music. She is what I call the most positive musician in the Rogue Valley. So that'll be fun to have another musician here next week. Right now, though, David Vallee is with us on the EARTHEART Radio Show here at KSKQ, and I'm dying to know what song you're going to do first, bro.
I'm going to start with a song from the late 70s called Heaven by Talking Heads.
Oh, nice. That's a band that I like, but I'm not familiar with the song. I'll admit it.
It's a classic. It's a good one.
It's called Heaven. So what microphone are you? You're going to use the other mic, I guess would be number 2 for your guitar. So I'm going to get you ready here. My friends, please kick back and relax. Enjoy yourself. You're listening to the music of David Vallee right here at KSKQ and the EARTHEART Radio Show on a lovely Sunday afternoon in 2020.
Everyone is trying to get to the bar. The name of the bar is called Heaven. The band in heaven, they play my favorite song. Play it once again, play it all night long. Heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. There's a party, everyone is there. Everyone will leave at exactly the same time. When the party's over, it will start again. Will not be any difference, will be exactly the same. Oh, heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. When this kiss is over, it will start again. There will not be any difference, will be exactly the same. Yeah, it's hard to imagine that nothing at all could be so exciting. place where nothing ever happens. Ah, heaven is a place where nothing ever happens.
You are listening to the EARTHEART Radio Show at KSKQ. David Vallee wrapping up his version of the Talking Heads' Heaven. Well done, my friend. Well done, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Did you learn that just for the show?
No, that's one I actually learned a long while ago, back when I first started playing like open mics and stuff around the valley.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I think I may have played it publicly once or twice, but it's not one that I've messed around with too much. And then when I thought about coming on this show and I started thinking about rock and roll music that has kind of a spiritual slant, this one popped in my head and I thought it was a good song to
That's awesome.
use.
How much, since I haven't heard the original, how true to that is to the original? Is it mellow, kind of like that?
Yeah, that song itself is kind of a more mellow Talking Heads one. The studio version has drums and bass and all that. But there is, however, David Byrne plays the song acoustic in the movie Stop Making Sense, which was a very famous performance of that song. So
yeah,
the version I just did is probably a little closer to that one.
Oh, from the movie?
Yeah.
Cool. I know your goal is to be playing out more, doing your solo thing. Do you have anything coming up in the Valley? Are you working on anything? I know Treebender, your band's playing a show where he's coming up in March, and your other band, Divine Dirt, has a show in March, but do you have any other things in the works?
Well, coming up in February, I'll probably be doing my first couple of Haunted Troubadour gigs, probably at Johnny B's.
Yeah, David has a persona called the Haunted Troubadour, and he does a slew of cool covers, and that's awesome. So you are going to be out soon doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing that soon. And then, like you said, in March, two bands that I'm in, one of them you're in as well, Divine Dirt and Treebender. We got a gig or two coming up as well. Treebender is kind of like stoner doom metal.
That's fun. We just confirmed it yesterday, actually, for March 14th at the Black Sheep Pub. Our band, Divine Dirt, performing with a band called The Elephant and Treebender. Yeah, that's going to be a fun show. It's actually, the occasion is going to be my 54th birthday celebration. So I'm really happy and grateful that everyone's making time to play that night. And usually about every 3 or 4 years, I'll do something special for my birthday, but normally I don't. It's usually me and the family going hiking or, going out to dinner and a movie. But this year I thought, man, it'd be kind of fun to have a show and, get out and do something.
Totally.
So, yeah, thanks for making the time to be part of that, man.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't miss it for the world. It's going to be a really fun night.
Yep, again, Black Sheep Pub, Ashland, March 14th, 9 to midnight. Let's see, I wanted to ask you, do you have any other, who are your biggest influence as far as writing and performing?
Oh, man, that's...
kind of a generic question, but I just had to...
Not at all. That's kind of I have a lot of influences spanning all different kinds of genres, but, I'm a rocker, so I kind of, a lot of that classic rock stuff hit me at a really early age. I always tell people, anybody who tells me, you're a good singer, I'll be like, thanks, the Beatles taught me how to sing.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Paul.
Because it's true. When I was a kid, I would just listen to all those classic albums over and over again and just kind of train my voice to hit each and every note that they were hitting, and I've just always had a good ear for music, so
I've got to ask, Stones or the Beatles?
Oh, man. Well, I love the Stones because they're kind of more like the underbelly, the gritty sex, drugs, and rock and roll side to rock and roll, but then the Beatles are a little more universal. I'd probably have to go with the Beatles.
Yeah, you're right, too. They are both great bands, and
right.
I'd probably go with the Beatles, too. just because there's so many layers of the Stones brought great rock and roll, but the Beatles brought actual some kind of different spiritual consciousness to music. The Stones brought Sympathy for the Devil and like give me and like Give Me Shelter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Altamont, and nothing against them. I love the Stones, but the Beatles, you know, especially George Harrison and John. But it seems like their spiritual quest really did help to shape the consciousness. Because, you know, like you said, the sex, drugs part is very prevalent even today, but it's very hard to find the spiritual part. And guys like George Harrison just don't come around every day.
The Beatles were one of those groups that not only changed and inspired, you know, rock and roll music, but they kind of changed and inspired the world, you know,
for
as
sure.
a whole, I think. So something to be said for that.
Amen. Well, I tell you what, I've got a couple of things I need to do as far as recognizing some underwriters. We are going to have some positive news to share with you, and Saint Spotlight is on the way. And Dave, will you stick around this hour and play some more music throughout the hour?
I would love to. Thanks for having me, man.
Maybe a couple more songs before we get out of here today?
Yes.
Awesome. So stick around, guys. David's going to play more music. Underwriting support for KSKQ comes from Medford Food Co-op. Medford Food Co-op nurtures a vibrant, healthy community and abundant local foods system with organic produce, sustainable meats, gourmet cheeses, and a wide selection of gluten-free, vegan, and vegetarian options. The cafe offers fresh meal solutions for busy schedules, including house-made hot soups, custom sandwiches, creative salads, and a variety of hot entrees. Medford Food Co-op and the cafe are open daily 7 to 9 at 945 South Riverside, just north of Barnett, and online at medfordfoodcoop.com.
Thanks for listening to Earth Heart Radio. Love everyone. Serve the people. Remember God. KSKQ. Saints. Angels. Avatars. Sages. Yogis. Holy men. Medicine women. Helpers. Elders. Revolutionaries. And advocates of love. Today we honor and show love, respect, and gratitude.
That's right, my friends. Every week I like to pay tribute to a high-frequency soul temporarily inhabiting a physical body, and today is no different. It's a little special today because this is an actual saint that I've actually had interaction with. I'm talking about a great person named Anandi Ma. Anandi Ma means one who is bliss and keeps others in bliss. Born in India, Anandi Ma, her early years passed in a quiet and uneventful manner in an environment rich with spiritual practice and energy. One day in 1972, at age 14, Anandi Ma suddenly entered a deep state of samadhi, which is a spiritual meditation. She described this experience later, saying that she saw the light of 1,000,000 suns, and she merged with the Divine Mother. Sri Anandi Ma's father sought advice from the guru teacher sadhu known as Dhyan Yogi, who awakened her from this deep samadhi state. Dhyan Yogi was convinced that Anandi Ma was very spiritually advanced for her age and gave her Shaktipat initiation. You can look that up online, Shaktipat, Shaktipat. Her parents consented for her to leave home to study with Sri Dhyan Yogi. He taught her how to work with her spiritual energy, including the technique of Shaktipat. She would later habitually enter powerful meditative states that could last for hours and even days. Dhyan Yogi told Anandi Ma to spiritually marry Dilipji, another Dhyan Yogi devotee, in order to double their spiritual energy so that the union may serve others. Today, Anandi Ma and Dilipji spend time in India and in the United States running meditation retreats and programs at their temple down in Antioch, California. They offer Shaktipat initiation and spiritual techniques to seekers, and they also continue the humanitarian works begun by Sri Dhyan Yogi by founding the Dhyan Didam Ashram in Nikora, which serves the community by maintaining a hospital, arranging eye surgery camps, and serving food to the poor. Sri Anandi Ma has 2 books that I know of, both designed to improve total well-being. One is called Divine Bliss, and one is called Healing Mantras. Anandi Ma is the head of the Dhyan Yogi lineage of Kundalini Mahayoga, offering Shaktipat initiation and teaching meditation and advanced yogic practices throughout the world. I found out also that you don't even necessarily need to physically be there in person to get or receive Shaktipat initiation from her. You can go see her, as Sister Tracy and I did, down in Antioch, California. She can be contacted, though, through the Antioch Temple. There's a very terrific book written by Anandi Ma about her guru, Dhyan Yogi, who was on my Saint Spotlight last week. The book written by Anandi Ma is called This House is on Fire. It's wonderfully written and was recommended to me originally by Bhagavan Das. Long live Sri Anandi Ma. How about a couple of quotes from Anandi Ma, and then I'm going to play a song that I'd like to dedicate to her. 2 quotes from Ma. Here's the first one. Quote, "There is no other hope or wish or purpose other than reaching back to the conscious ocean from where you have come. That drop that you are needs to merge back." I love that. And there's another one by Anandi Ma. "The infinite is the form of pure love. Meditate to reach it, and you will find pure love, peace, and happiness." So I'd like to dedicate a song to Sri Anandi Ma, and let's hope everything works out okay. It's a song that I thought I had it queued up here. I guess I do. It is a song by The Who. It's called "See Me, Feel Me, Listening to You." Let's send this out for Sri Anandi Ma, right? Why not? And let's get the right buttons going. You're at KSKQ in the Earth Heart Radio Show. Thanks for being here.
All paths lead to getting higher up the proverbial mountain. Earth Heart Radio with Shankara Das on KSKQ.
Thank you for being here, my friends. You are at the Earth Heart Radio Show at KSKQ, and Gettin' Gear is proud to be an underwriter of KSKQ Community Radio, located at the corner of A and 3rd Street in Ashland. Family-owned Gettin' Gear is here to serve the Rogue Valley with their selection of recycled outdoor gear. Gettin' Gear also offers consignment for the ever-changing equipment needs of the outdoor enthusiast. Whether it's bikes, skis, backpacks, ball sports, blading, clothing, or boating, Gettin' Gear has it all for you. For more info, their number is 541-482-5181. KSKQ thanks Gettin' Gear and listeners like you for supporting community radio. My guest today is David Vallee, musician here in Southern Oregon. Dave, glad to have you here.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here.
And you're a big Who fan. We were talking about the Who's performance at the Woodstock Music Festival and how epic it was.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's funny that you played that song because literally maybe just a couple weeks ago I was watching the Woodstock and the movie, and that performance really stood out to me of the Who.
Yeah, just the whole story behind the Who, like their payment situation. I know you know all these stories.
Right.
You're a walking encyclopedia of rock as well. But like they had this weird deal where they were like the highest paid band there, and they had to have it up front. It was this big scurry to get the cash to them, but they really put out a performance that was unbelievable.
Right.
That's for sure. If you haven't seen the Who at Woodstock, it's available everywhere on DVD. So I'm sure you can find it online somewhere too. So Dave, you did Heaven by the Talking Heads a while ago with the acoustic guitar, and you are going to do a second number now.
That is correct.
And of course a third a little later, but what song are you going to do now?
Well, we were talking about the Beatles earlier, so I might as well. I'd like to do a George Harrison song.
Nice.
Called All Things Must Pass.
That's awesome.
One of my favorites.
And by the way, you were doing good with the vocals. All you have to do is be a few inches away from the mic there, but you sound really good, man.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
My friends, please give it up and enjoy yourselves. Thanks for being here at KSKQ Radio. It's David Vallee on the Earth Heart Radio Show.
Sunrise doesn't last all morning. A cloudburst doesn't last all day. Seems my love is up and has left you with no warning. grave. All things must pass. All things must pass away. All things must pass. All things must pass away. Sunset doesn't last all evening. A mind can blow those clouds away. Seems my love is up and now I must be leaving. But it's not always gonna be this great. All things must pass. All things must pass away. All things must pass. All things must pass away. Now the darkness only stays at nighttime. In the morning it will fade away. Daylight is good at arriving at the right time. It's not always gonna be this way. All things must pass. All things must pass away. All things must pass. All things must pass away.
Wow. Great job, my brother.
Thanks, man.
Wow. Yeah, great rendition of the wonderful George Harrison classic, All Things Must Pass. David Vallee on the EARTHEART Radio Show on KSKQ. Great job, dude.
Thank you so much, man.
Man, how many times did you rehearse that song to be able to do it that good?
That's honest to God only like the second or third time I've ever played it.
Really?
To be honest. Yeah.
Wow. I knew that it was going to be something mind-blowing. Like I always tell people, I've been in the music business 37 years, and I can't even play a kazoo. And you play guitar, bass, drums, and you've done it twice. Give me a break, Dave.
Shucks. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I love George Harrison.
Me too. And that particular song is one that's always kind of had a special place in my heart. I remember being young and having like a really hardcore anxiety trip one night when I was little, and that song just sort of kind of helped get me through, and so ever since then it's been one of those touchstones for me.
Nice. That's very cool. One of our regular listeners, Brenda Roche, who's probably listening right now in Medi, she gave me a gift not too long ago. It's a double DVD set of the George Harrison, that CD that was a live performance that I think was the concert for George.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, it's such a great set, though. Just amazing performances and just great stuff on there.
Yeah, I love George Harrison so much.
He is the man, that's for sure, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
All paths lead to getting higher up the proverbial mountain. EARTHEART Radio with Shankara Das on KSKQ.
My friends, thanks for being here at the EARTHEART Radio Show. David, would you stick around and do another song a little later on?
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and do some positive news. I have been talking to quite a few people that tell me they really enjoy the positive news segment. I really thought that would be the least popular segment, but turns out that most people do agree that when you tune the news on, it's almost always depressing. And it turns out it's done on purpose. I won't go into anything more conspiratorial than that. But, so what I'm doing is I'm playing positive stuff on purpose.
Things aren't as bad as it seems, no matter what they say. News with an agenda is meant to instill fear. True news can instill hope.
That's right. And we hope you will dig today's positive news. Positive news story number 1. And I think I'm going to start getting some background music to play while I do the news. I think that might be kind of a good idea. By the way, remember, my friends, the fragrance always remains on the hand that gives the rose. So today's positive news story number 1. Hundreds of sheep saved from Australian brush fires. It's been pretty bad what's happening over in Australia. A courageous pup is being credited for saving an entire flock of sheep from impending brush fires in Australia earlier this month. On New Year's Eve, Stephen Hill and his 6-year-old pup Patsy saw wildfires approaching his sister's farm in Corryong, Australia. Sometime around 4:15 a.m., Stephen and Patsy the pup rushed to the farm. Quick as a flash, Patsy rounded up the herd and ushered them into a barn, while the farm owner fended off the flames with a tractor and a water pump. Thanks to Patsy's quick actions, almost every single one of the roughly 220 sheep were saved from the fires. Thankfully, Australian meteorologists are hoping that this week's forecast for upcoming rainfall will help bring a much-needed break to the province's brush fires in Australia. Positive news story number 2. Fewer and fewer people are dying from cancer in the United States every year, with 2017 the largest single-year drop in cancer mortality ever reported. Pretty good news, right? Cancer death rate declined by 29% from 1991 to 2017, including a whopping 2.2% drop from 2016 to 2017. So the drop translates to approximately 2.9 million fewer cancer deaths than would have occurred had mortality rates remained at their peak. The death rate dropping is for all 4 major cancers: lung, colorectal, breast, and prostate. See? Cancer rates are going down. Positive news number 3. 95-year-old gets swindled of $16,000, but spaghetti saves the day. That's right. After a 95-year-old woman was robbed of her life savings, her community managed to replace it all by serving spaghetti. Last summer, Barbara Hinckley's bank accounts were emptied of $16,000 after she was targeted by a con man who convinced her she had won second place in a Publishers Clearinghouse contest with the prize of $2.5 million and a Mercedes-Benz. Well, the senior was scammed, and she later told news reporters about the scam in hopes that it would deter other people from falling prey to the same scheme. You know, you get a little older, your mind goes a little bit, you get a little more trusting. You can't blame someone. Maybe she thought she was going to win some money. Maybe she was going through some bad stuff. Who knows? But she was scammed. Basically, Maine Governor John Baldacci was immediately spurred to help. He spearheaded a spaghetti dinner fundraiser earlier this month. 60 pounds of noodles, 17 gallons of sauce, and dozens of cases of vegetables. 400 people did attend the fundraiser. They raised $18,000, which is even more than what Hinckley was swindled out of in the first place. It takes a village. Last but not least, we do have positive news story number 4. The youngest yogi in the USA is in Hawaii. At just 7 years old, this boy was inspired to become the youngest yoga teacher in the USA and one of the youngest in the world after he saw how the ancient discipline helped his mom recover from cancer and chemotherapy. Now 14 years old, Tabe Atkins teaches 3 classes a week, and he holds 7 different yoga teacher certifications. The young yogi was devastated to watch his 40-year-old mother struggle as she underwent chemo, and he even shaved his head in solidarity when she lost her hair. But when he saw how yoga helped her to walk and to find joy in life once more, he was determined to help others find the same healing on the mat. Quote, "My mom beat cancer, and 2 weeks later, she was introduced to yoga," he said. "That's when I decided to be a yoga teacher. I wanted to teach yoga so I could heal people the way yoga had healed my mom. That's pretty cool, man. Tabay received his first yoga certificate at 7 years old, and he underwent the very same 200-hour teacher training when he was only 10 years old. It's been told there was a lot of people in that class that were like in their 50s and 60s that could barely handle it, and this kid did it. So he's probably some kind of an avatar or some bodhisattva, who knows. He now has 7 yoga teacher certifications, including aerial yoga, restorative yoga, and he specializes in yoga for those on the autism spectrum. How cool is that? He splits his time between teaching 3 classes a week at his mom's studio, which is Care for Yoga in San Clemente, California. He's also in resorts and schools over in Maui most of the time. He's also taught classes all over the world, including the UK, France, Australia, Mexico, and over in New York City. He donates all the money he makes to helping people who have cancer. So he takes no money. He's also a vegan cook, and he teaches vegan cookery. Man, I want to be this kid. Sheesh. Quote unquote, I want to continue inspiring as many people as I can to live healthier, says Tabay. See, I wish more people could be yoga teachers. I want to be a yoga teacher. We're actually teaching right now, though, I think. We're teaching how to have fun and love each other, right? David Vallee is my guest at the EARTHEART Radio Show. I'm glad to have him here. That's for dang sure.
I'm glad to be here, man.
Namaste from EARTHEART Radio and KSKQ.
My friends, I was going to play a song by the great Nina Hagen. And after this song, I would like to proudly introduce David Vallee again, and I'm looking forward to sharing the song that we're going to perform after this. Is that okay with you, Dave?
Yeah, man, that sounds great. Looking forward to it.
I've got this song, and Paul Rossler is the keyboard player, and Paul's a friend of David and mine and produces our records in Los Angeles. He's kind of a legend, and he was the keyboard player with the Nina Hagen Band for about 10 years, I think. And I found this really great song by Nina Hagen called Jai Mata Durga, and I really like it a lot. And I thought we'd play this and then come back and hear some David Vallee music. Jai Ma.
Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, we give thanks to the beloved sages and blessed saints. You're listening to EARTHEART Radio on KSKQ.
Thanks for being here, my friends. Derek Moody, a.k.a. Shankaradas, hosting the EARTHEART Radio Show every Sunday. And next week on the show, Sierra Leanne Cox will be my guest, the most positive musician in Southern Oregon, coming to play happy music. The week after, we'll be talking to the twin sister of the singer for the Runaways. Marie Curie is joining us, talking about her new book, Narrow Road of Light, which I'm currently reading, and it's a good book. And Marie's a friend and a really good person, and man, she's a great interview. Loves to talk and very informative. The week after that, Nicole Brady, a.k.a. DJ Starlight, will be here talking about the saint known as Amma, as she is a Amma devotee. I'm excited about that. February 16th, Deanna Larkins will be here. She's a vegan and an intuitive. She's been an intuitive since like age 4, so that'll be interesting. The week after that, Gary Floyd is my guest, the former singer for Sister Double Happiness, the Dicks, the Buddha Brothers. He is going to be talking about Ramakrishna with me and Kali Ma. The week after that, we'll be playing a pre-recorded speech by Terrence McKenna about psilocybin and its the way it can help mental illness. And then finally, on March 8th, we've got Brahmachari Martin, a 50-year devotee of Paramahansa Yogananda and one of the monastics from the Self-Realization Fellowship in Los Angeles, California. Thanks for being here at the EARTHEART Radio Show. Biscuits and Vinyl is proud to be an underwriter of KSKQ. Located in Talent, Oregon, Biscuits and Vinyl offers carefully curated records and goods. Biscuits and Vinyl is located at 103 Talent Avenue in downtown Talent. They are open Wednesday through Saturday from 11 to 6. KSKQ thanks Biscuits and Vinyl and listeners like you for supporting community radio. And before we get back to my guest, speaking of the saint known as Amma, I would like to give you a couple of quotes from Amma before we get back to David Vallee. Here's a quote from Saint Amma. Quote, God's power is not something outside. It is within us. We need to awaken that power. Another quote from Amma, we should never forget that after every night there is a dawn. We should never lose our optimistic faith. What the heck? One more from Mama. Quote, for me, everything in creation is God. There is nothing but God. Every single object is a wonder for me. I love that. The hugging saint known as Amma. David Vallee, once again, thanks again for being here, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. Those were some great quotes. I really like those.
I'd like to share those with people. And you were wanting to say hello to a special someone?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend, Crystal, of Crystal Clean House Cleaning out in White City. I love you, babe.
Is she tuned in right now?
I think she is. Yeah.
Hey, Crystal. And if not, this will be on the YouTube. EARTHEART Radio has a YouTube channel. Thank you to Brother Rick in Kenosha, Wisconsin for running the channel. EARTHEART Radio is spelled with one H. So EARTH. EART. You just type in EARTHEART Radio on YouTube, and all of our archive shows are there. David, I guess you've asked me to contribute some vocals because the next song we're doing is a Divine Dirt song.
Yes, we're going to do Moksha Limitless High from the Divine Dirt album from the Underworld, which is very spiritual, all the lyrics.
You know, and if you were to get a copy of the album, the great Anandi Ma from the band Christian Death does the lead vocals on this song, and I do the backup. So today I'm going to be joining David doing the vocals on this acoustic version, and if Anandi Ma is listening, I hope I hold it up okay, my friend. You're at EARTHEART Radio and KSKQ.
All right.
Tribulation, suffering and macillation. Let go of expectation. Moksha, our destination. Moksha, limitless high, devoted to that which never dies. Moksha, love cannot fade. There's no tomorrow or yesterday. Freedom of samsara, cycle of rebirth, emancipation, liberation, live the birth for all it's worth. Freedom of samsara, cycle of rebirth, emancipation, liberation, live the birth for all it's worth. After death, don the guise, serve the souls who've chosen wise. Shaktipat initiation, third eye investigation. Moksha, limitless high, devoted to that which never die. Moksha, love cannot fade. There's no tomorrow or yesterday. Your freedom of samsara, your cycle of rebirth, emancipation, liberation, live the birth for all it's worth. Your freedom of samsara, cycle of rebirth, emancipation, liberation, live the birth for all it's worth. Samsara, your cycle of rebirth, emancipation, liberation, you live the birth for all it's worth. Your freedom of samsara, cycle of rebirth, emancipation, liberation, live the birth for all it's worth. Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. Yeah, you're at the Earth Heart Radio Show and KSKQ. David Vallee on acoustic guitar and my guest today. Thanks, man.
Thank you for having me.
It was
man.
my voice is kind of fried today, but it was fun to try to do that at least.
Sounded great, brother.
The guitar sounded really nice, for sure. So, yeah, man, it's really great to have you on. David Vallee, by the way, has been on the Church of Rock radio show a couple of times on YouTube. Performances are out there in cyberspace on the Church of Rock radio show, if you're ever so inclined.
Out in cyberspace.
In cyberspace, yeah. So what are your plans, man, for the immediate future, Dave? Are you going to stick around Oregon, or do you think down the road you'll end up being some kind of studio musician over in LA or New York or somewhere? Or like, what is your plan?
Well, for now, I'm getting projects going and kind of trying to get grounded with some things. So I'll definitely be in Oregon for at least the next 2 to 3 years. But yeah, eventually I would like to maybe get out of here and go see more of this big, great world we live in. For
sure. And in the meantime, you and I will be doing our thing with Divine Dirt, performing March 14th at the Black Sheep Pub in Ashland. And we'll be writing Divine Dirt 2, the album, right?
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I've already got some musical tidbits for the next record, and I'm just excited about it.
Me too, man. Well, thanks for being here, brother, and I keep in touch, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, for sure. My friends, give it up for my friend and musician David Vallee on the Earth Heart Radio Show.
You've been listening to Earth Heart Radio with your host, Shankara Das. Earth Heart Radio is produced by Shankara Das in association with Sister Tracy and Krishna Consciousness. Please tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for more Earth Heart Radio.